We'll go ahead and get started. This meeting is a meeting of the school board and the public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business. It is not to be considered a public community meeting. Maybe time for public participation is indicated by agenda item or as directed by the president. Meeting site is fully accessible. This meeting is a meeting of the school board and the public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business. That's kind of hard to read like that. The meeting site is fully accessible. Any person requiring further accommodation should contact the superintendent at the school corporation's central office. The meeting will be electronically recorded and will be kept on file in the superintendent's office. A copy of the audio recording will also be available on the NLCS website. The website address is www.nlcs.k12.in.us. Go ahead, call the meeting to order. Rise and uncover. Say the pledge. Mr. Arnold, we just say the pledge.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, review for approval minutes, executive session memorandum of August 6th, 2020.
Motion.
Mr. Arnold makes the motion and a second.
Second.
Mr. Gilbert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you. Item D, persons to address the board relative to the agenda. If you wish to make public comments on items relative to the agenda, place a completed comment card on the podium prior to the start of the meeting. As a reminder, during public comments, the board administration will not be answering questions, and there's a 3-minute time limit. No persons to address the board.
There's no cards out there if they need them. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Would anyone like the card for now? Mr. Phillips?
Thank you.
You just want to take them off.
I need them.
You took them off.
I did not. Not the one after not thank you.
So we have some persons to address the board.
You need to start. Ed Bay, Bedford, Indiana. I'll make this real brief. Mr. Arnold, Mr. Gilbert, I really want to address you. Mr. Gillespie, he's not here. I'd encourage the 3 of you guys, because you're not running again for re-election, to abstain from voting on any future capital improvements. Well, it's actually a present capital improvement. It's the $5.5 million y'all borrowing. But it also includes future. Mr. Mungle's not provided any plan about how you're going to spend that $5.5 million. I talked to the State Board of Accounts. They're telling me that a plan is required about how that money's going to be spent. Specific projects, specific dollar amounts. But since you guys are not going to be running again, you can't be held accountable at the ballot box for your vote. So I'm encouraging you to not vote.
Well, sir, for your information, I filed today.
Oh, great. Well, I hadn't seen that. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for your advice. Appreciate it.
Any other persons to address the board relative to the agenda? Seeing none, moving on, business services, Mrs. Roan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since our last board meeting, we had claims and payroll in the amount of $1,883,781.40. Just seeking your approval on those claims and payroll.
Good motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Gilbert makes the motion and a second. Mrs. Collier seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Thank you. And also wanted to update you that it is budget season for 2021. I am finishing up on the 2021 budget, and we will publish before our next meeting, and there will be a public hearing before the meeting at our next meeting. So I'll be sending out the 2021 budget for you guys to look over, and if you have any questions, let me know. Tis the season, yes.
Will the hearing, will that be on the 2nd?
No, it's gonna be on September
17th, I think.
17th? Okay,
17th.
thank you.
Yes.
We'll just do it before our regular board meeting,
And then adoption will be October.
October.
Yes.
Thank you, Janice. Item F, Mrs. Dayton.
Well, we are up and running both in person and virtually, so it has been great and crazy all at the same time. No, we have just running 2 different platforms has definitely had hiccups, and I kept sharing with Mrs. Morris down at Stalker as we have students come pick up their virtual bags. I said, well, now I know how we can do it better.
Probably Transmark is placing the other one, maybe, or maybe not.
Took care of it.
I said, now we know how to do it better, but I hope that we don't have to do it again, especially for our littles. But so for K through 5, which is the virtual program being run by NLCS teachers, our instructional coaches that we have hired for the school year, and reading specialists, we have 366 students enrolled in our K through 5 program. Those students are on daily, Monday through Thursday with the teacher in live sessions. They're also watching recorded videos. Our teachers are recording. Friday is always planned for what we call asynchronous instruction, so self-paced. So they are working independently on Fridays with assignments throughout the week. And then for our 6 through 12 students, we have 593 of those, and they are working in the adoption platform. We're still getting students. We didn't have all of our families come in at the very beginning, so we're still meeting with the last few families to get their schedule set. And they are still, some families are still awaiting all of their classes, but they're getting classes loaded, and students will not be penalized if they don't have their classes. They won't be penalized for things due. They will work with them on extended deadlines to make sure that they're ready. So we have been just exchanging Chromebooks and getting those devices out to students. A lot of troubleshooting. As we know, our elementary has never brought Chromebooks home before, so these are new for parents to see at home and helping support. So a lot of the software staff has been amazing down there, helping just troubleshoot families. What's our username? What's our password? How do we log on? We've also been able to provide hotspots for some families that didn't have internet access to do the virtual learning. So it has been a learning experience, but everybody is kind of off and running and excited to get a routine, I think, both in person with our classroom teachers and virtually. So it has been great. And also, since we were last together, we had our teachers completed over 750 hours of professional development in those 3 days that we stipend teachers, both on Google Classroom and different technology aspects, as well as meeting with the virtual teachers at the elementary level and kind of brainstorming things that they could help prepare to go remote. So we'll continue to collaborate and put together a plan should the need ever arise to go virtual. But teachers really took advantage of that professional development that we offered in those 3 days, and we're excited to keep moving.
And when we get a little update, I know as far as transportation, obviously we changed the routes, many of our districts and the attendance areas, but I couldn't be more happy. I think, the way school is running, obviously our first day, we had some challenges. Last year, our hubs were the 3 junior highs, Now the hubs are the 5 elementary schools, so it's just a little bit of a change. But Mr. Bodie, any updates, or would you have any questions for Mr. Bodie on transportation?
I don't have any questions. I know that job well done. You know, obviously there's always the first day hiccups, any year. And with the changes and, you know, I know there was some, I think a lot of the confusion was new school buses and kids may not knowing, you know, what bus they rode that morning and that type of thing. But after the first day, I think I can speak for several board members here, we didn't hear, you know, somewhat radio silence the following day. So job well done. Anybody have any other questions for either Maggie or Mr. Bodie?
And I think facilities, Mr. Zalman's here this evening. Obviously, I've shared with the board and I think lots of things we've done with the facilities and getting the schools ready. We had a couple small issues as we fire all the air conditioners up and we had a couple compressors go out or that we luckily quickly got those repaired and up and going. So I think facility wise, we're getting there. So,
Same thing. I'd like to echo what I said. I mean, we heard, you know, those similar small issues, and yourself and the maintenance crews, you know, took care of business and we appreciate all your efforts. Any questions for Mr. Zalman?
No other than welcome aboard.
Thank you. I look forward to the opportunity to work with the school board, Dr. Mungo, and administrators.
Donnie's obviously been around for a long time with NLCS, but due to this role and glad to have you, Donnie. Moving on.
Mrs. Winsack this evening.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do the personnel report. She had a family commitment. Just a few items as presented. We have some new hires. Brooke Baton, Olytic Resource Instructor. Amber Basilius, BMS Nurse. Taylor Daniel, Joint Services Occupational Therapist. Troy Lebowski, NLCC Criminal Justice Instructor. Christina Reinhardt, Olytic Campus Instructor. And Kelsey Lottrell, NLCS Speech Language Pathologist. Also in our support staff, we have Tyler Blanton, Bus Mechanic. Tina Brazel, B&L Hall Monitor. Jenna Deckard, Shawswick Instructional Assistant. Maria Klein, B&L Instructional Assistant. Alexis Philpott, Playful Pathways Instructional Assistant. And Cindy Terry, Olytic Campus Instructional Assistant. So I have bring those to you this evening for a recommendation to hire those individuals.
Get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Arnold makes a motion and a second.
Second.
Mr. Gilbert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion?
I just wanted to say I was surprised to see the resume of the young man that applied for the mechanic's job. Seems like you really very fortunate to get somebody local that has all that experience. So
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Because he's replacing a longtime mechanic.
Yes, sir. Big shoes to fill.
Yes.
Too, and yeah, another job well done.
Yes, we were extremely fortunate. He has children that be attending or that lives here in the district as well. So it's just a chance to get home. Next up, we have.
We need to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have any other questions on the motion?
Sorry, I disrupted the schedule.
No, you didn't. Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Now you can carry on, Dr. Mungo.
Next up, we have a transfer. Noel Ramey transferring from Shawswick Cook to BMS Cook, effective August 10th.
Get a motion to approve the transfer.
Make the motion.
Mr. Gilbert makes the motion in a second.
Second.
Mr. Mr. Arnold seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same. Thank you.
Next up, just for your information, we have there some resignations. Most of those are ECA positions and different positions. That does not take board action. That's just there informational wise. Next up, I have a termination, make a recommendation, Drew Bailey, terminated from his position at Parkview as an instructional assistant effective August 19th, 2020.
The motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Arnold makes the motion in a second.
A second.
Mr. Gilbert seconds the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Item E.
And last up, that's just for your information, Rita Jenkins, she's requesting a medical leave and has turned in the appropriate information for August 13th through October 9th, 2020. Just to follow up a little bit, back to school update. We, like has been shared earlier, have been off to a great start. Obviously, our first day, just a few things, and I think as our staff got acquainted and building principals, but I know having visited each of the buildings, either during arrival or dismissal time or during the day, I think the modifications that all the staff members are making and how well the students are doing with wearing their mask and meeting the needs. I do want to share, I know on social media today, some information was shared that we had 9 positive tests at the high school. That is false, it's inaccurate. We even contacted the Lawrence County Health Department, who we're in contact with just to make sure that no one had possibly went to the doctor's office today and someone that we may not know about. But we sent out a message as far as to the rumors that we had been made aware of circulating through social media. We'd like to assure you that at this time we have not made aware of any positive cases of COVID-19 among our students or staff. We work in very close conjunction with our NLCS nursing staff and the Lawrence County Health Department in gathering information as quickly as possible. In the event that a positive case was confirmed, we would follow all necessary protocols to ensure the safety of our school and community. I think at times some people don't realize, those of us, the school administrators, the teachers, the staff, the support staff, our nurses, not only do we work in these buildings, but many of us have our own children that attend in these very buildings. So it is disturbing that this type of message would be sent out among the community and on social media, that it's these false accusations. It's just flat out lies. There's no other way to put it. And I share this evening, not for our staff, for our principals, for our many students that work hard, because they see this information and then they begin to wonder. And I just want to share that. I think it's important to know, and I think it's important that we take this serious. And our North Lawrence Community School family, from transportation in the morning to how our facilities are taken care of, to what gets done in the classrooms and what our nurses do every day and everyone else, we're one big family and we're looking out for each other. And today was our 6th day in school, and we couldn't be happier and off to a great start. So I think one other message I'd like to share, because I think it's false information out there as well. There are several taxing rates in Lawrence County, taxing units. Obviously, North Lawrence Community Schools is one of those taxing units. Our libraries, our cities, our towns, our fire departments. There's lots of taxing units. I don't know all of the taxing units. But my guess is that North Lawrence Community Schools will probably be the only taxing unit that will have a decrease in their tax rate for the upcoming year. Yes, a decrease because we have debt falling off. Are we assuming new debt? We are. But that is the only way schools in Indiana, that is the only way cities and towns or anyone receives money to operate, to fix things up, to either build new things. So, you know, I think in behalf of the board, and I think us in North Lawrence Community Schools, you know, our tax rate's lowering. Is anyone else's lowering? Are we borrowing money? Yes, we are. But we are clearly doing it within our means. We're not raising the tax rate. We did advertise according to state law what we were looking at with the projects. We're looking at spending no more than $2.6 million at the high school campus. And on that high school campus, it would be fixing up the facilities. Most of our middle school and high school students go to that campus either to use those athletic facilities or use the academic facilities, either with the swimming and the different sports and the band programs and different things. So that project would impact over 2,000 of our students at the high school. And we clearly said the different items we were looking at spending it on. We would not have those exact numbers because we haven't went through the process yet to know exactly what we're going to spend those items on. The other half of the money that we are looking at borrowing is $2.6 million at the elementary schools, which would be the other half of the population of our students. And we have said that Shawswick Heating and Cooling System is a system that we've been looking at for several years. We have some other schools that still have the pneumatics controls that we would be looking at updating. And also we're looking at replacing the roof at Stalker Elementary, which has been something that has been looked at for like the last 5 years. So, you know, along with that, once we go through the public bidding process and we advertise and we accept a bid, then we'll come back and look. And I think we'll make a determination as far as the elementary schools. So I didn't want it to seem, and I hope the number of meetings that we've had and the opportunities, you know, to gather information and the assistance that we've had, you know, we haven't went through or done anything differently than any other school corporation. I know it was implied that these other schools, I guess, write checks or maybe carry such large cash balances or have millions of dollars in their reserves over the abundance that they would need as a safety net. But that's not the case. These other school districts that have performed these types of duties, I can assure you, they have went out, they bonded money, either a capital projects bond, they bonded money, and then they went through the bidding process and they did these types of projects. So it isn't anything that we're doing differently, and I think it's important that you know that, and I know that Mr. Pittman, along with our legal bond counsel that is walking us through these steps, who helps schools across the state and probably has helped North Lawrence with this process 15 to 20 years. So it's nothing new, but I just felt I wanted to share that information this evening, and I think just a few things. But primarily, I just hope our families, our community, we're blessed to be in the community we're in. We have tremendous resources for our youth, with the boys club, the girls club, our churches, so many clubs and activities in our schools, that we can just be careful what we share on social media and that it is accurate, or feel free to pick up the phone and call the health department or to call one of our schools and find out. That's
You
all.
just shut down 25% of the schools. Our tax rate should go down.
Item I, persons to address the board.
Yeah. 4 cents.
Oh, no, I don't have anything to say.
That's what they're saying.
Hello,
If you could,
my name is
thanks,
Chad
Chad.
Schock. I'm an Indian Creek resident. I have 2 kids at Parkview. I have one at BMS and I have one at B&M. So I'm well in the system there. So, but I've got a few questions that they just don't seem to be getting answered. So I'm gonna ask them again.
Go ahead, Chad. All right.
So a couple months ago, we talked about debt restructuring to get the liens off of Springville and Fayetteville schools that magically appeared at, it was overlooked, whatever you want to call it. So has that been resolved?
We're working through the steps. It's not something that's quickly resolved, but
Okay, well, a couple months ago, you guys said it was an easy thing to do.
Didn't say it was quick.
it's easy. It's just not quick.
Okay, so have the meetings been set up, or you got a meeting with the financial company to do this?
Paying the bonds off of
He has, we have meetings set up.
Yeah.
A lot of it deals with appraisals and different steps that we're working on that. Yes.
Okay. I guess that's good. So the second question I have is on the Springville school. Can you tell me what the date is that NLCS is going to transfer that back to Perry Township?
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Lots of reasons.
Name them.
I think there's a lot of people in this county that are interested.
We don't
Hearing
know
reasons.
exactly when we're gonna get everything, be able to get all of the steps done so that we can release it. And we have to first decide, as a board, and when that we determine it to be surplus property. And we'll let you know. We
I
don't
thought you
have a
determined that
specific
last
date.
November when you said that it was no longer needed. It's been almost a year.
Getting into some legal issues, we've offered to meet with the.
No, sit there and lie to me.
I'm not lying to you.
Okay, so then Chad, we're gonna have to quit answering questions if that's,
Okay, I apologize.
We,
I
so-
apologize.
We're done.
thank you.
Yeah.
We have asked to meet with the trustee and we have yet to schedule that appointment. So we want to sit down with the trustee and discuss it. There are, like you said, there are liens on the building that have to be resolved, and that takes time to get resolved. We're working on that.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit, so I have a facilities background, as some of you know. So I wanna make sure that we are not neglecting these buildings as winter approaches. That these lines, if you're going to drag this on through the winter, that these fire suppression systems and these plumbing systems are either gonna get shut off and blown down, and that you protect these assets. Is that on the agenda to do?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we shut down the sprinkler system, that violates our insurance policy. Because all the buildings are sprinkled and we have to maintain a sprinkler system, so no, we can't shut it down.
Okay, what
The
about
same
your,
way without their Visteon plant, our insurance required us when the building was sitting empty, all 300,000 square feet of it, we had to have a sprinkler system operational, so we had to heat the whole building. So,
is that the case here though?
well, yeah,
I
the
just-
insurance,
all
our
I wanna
insurance
do-
rate is based on,
I want to bring it up and make sure that this is an item on the agenda to make sure it doesn't get overlooked when it gets below freezing. That's all I'm doing.
but we'd be foolish to shut down
I agree.
HVAC systems. And I know that they're not shut down, are they, Donnie?
it's not.
So that your ceiling tile, your floor tile, everything is affected by not having proper HVAC, as you well know.
I'm very well aware. Okay. So, I have another question. Mr. Mumble and Mr. Pittman met with Mr. Scherschel, the Indian Creek Township trustee, is that correct?
We've had discussions with you.
So is there, since this was do you guys have a transcript on this meeting, what was discussed? And can you guys give the public any knowledge of what you talked about?
We talked about Fayetteville School, I can tell you that, and the process that we have to go through, we informed him, same as we've informed the Perry Township trustee.
Okay, so can you also answer when NLCS plans on issuing a letter to Indian Creek of,
We can't give you a timeline, because we have to get the bonds transferred to different real estate within the school district. Once that's done, then we can sit down and the board can make a decision on that.
okay. Okay, so I think them are all the questions that I have right now. But I would like to say one thing. There's a note here on something that was said earlier. Mr. Mungle, you are in no position to lecture this community on falsehoods, half-truths, and lies. We have been dealing with this ever since you took office. So don't lecture us. Thank you.
Next up,
I second what Chad said. You have no right to lecture any of
for
us.
the record, state your name.
Robbie Phillips, Springville, Indiana.
Thank you.
None, because we can't even get an amount that the students, you get per student, it's been in the paper anywhere, 5,400. It never has been 69 or 7,000 like it is from Mr. May's office. You wouldn't even give us a concrete number on that. So how can you lecture us when we don't get truths out of you? If you would tell the truth, maybe we could take it a little better or understand it. So, to Mr. Pittman, has the meeting not been scheduled at Springville with the trustee? Have you requested it? Okay. So I wasn't sure if it was on your end.
Now, let me guess, somebody told you that, Robbie.
I'm asking.
I addressed that the last meeting. Do you remember that? Didn't I address that last meeting? That
Somewhat.
we were waiting, so you're asking it again.
I'm gonna ask it until I get an
And I
answer.
give you the answer.
Not from you, from
Did
the
you not-
lawyer here.
Did-
You know why?
Once again, we
Because he's
don't
honest with me.
have to,
He's
Oh,
honest.
I give you an
No,
honest
you
answer.
call me a troublemaker, that's all you call me.
Well,
okay.
that was
And a lot of other
after
things.
after the meeting, but I told you that he had contacted them, okay, right? He had contacted their attorney and requested the meeting with Mr. Phillips, and we were waiting to hear.
Okay. But I was wanting to talk to Mr. Pittman afterwards, I didn't get the chance. I got run out here. So anyhow, I was wanting to, I didn't have the chance. So I'm gonna ask it every time. I've had two board members tell me they'd get a key, and let me walk through that school. Has it happened yet? Well, I had one not really say that, he said he wants to walk through it. Another one said he didn't
Now
care.
you're telling lies, Robbie.
Now, I'm not telling lies, you want me to read it off? You said you wanna go through
Oh, I
it,
do, yeah.
and I said, can I go?
I haven't asked to go yet, but I want to go through it sometime.
After last week's other meeting, I asked another board member that's not here, and he said, I don't care if you get a key, I'll get a key, we'll go through it together.
I'll be more than happy to too when I'm ready to go and ask.
When you're ready, when are you gonna ask him?
Whenever.
Whenever.
You have a job.
I trust what they're saying. that
Well, you
they're
should.
Not taking.
You should not.
The wall mounts.
We
off the
elected
wall.
you as a trustee to take care of our needs of this corporation, it's $50-some million. We expect you to oversee them and make sure things are done right, not believe everything they say, especially when you got one that can't tell the truth ever. So again, Mr. Pittman, will you get me a key to go through the school? Why?
can't pass out keys to everybody wants to walk through the middle of the school.
I'm a taxpayer. I live there.
We can't pass out keys to every tax.
I'm not everybody. I'm a concerned citizen of what's went on down at my school. While COVID-19 was going on, the schools were closed down. We hired teachers at we didn't hire teachers. We hired students at $15 an hour per week to clean out a bunch of stuff. More money than the service workers make, right? So here we go. We clean out all this stuff. It gets rained down. I find out we can finally get it from Mr. Mungle. We can get it after it's rained on, tore up, whatever, what's left over from the auction. Now I find out that students are sitting on the floor at lunch. They have no desk, nowhere to eat. They're sitting in the gym. So who's mismanagement who? Who's mismanaging who? Are you guys watching what's going on? These are parents talking. They're liars. All the parents are liars in this community. Is that something?
Several of those
Is that
things,
better,
several of
Mr.
those
Todd?
things that you just mentioned, were addressed, came
Okay.
to the school board's concern, and we've asked those questions. So,
Well, tell us publicly. What was the response?
Well, I can tell you, I asked one teacher about it, and she said that, yes, they are sitting on their own mats for reading time because of the social distancing.
Which would make sense.
They used to do that without, with mats, but they would have reading circles. The rest of the time, they're at a desk with some protection and they're spaced out.
Okay.
Now, she teaches at one school here in town. I don't know whether that's true of all of them, but that's the only one I've asked. And I thought the answer was quite satisfactory. It made sense to me.
And I appreciate that, Larry, because that's what a trustee's job is to do, if there's issues, good or bad, to investigate and find out what's going on for the betterment of who? The kids, the students, or the concerns of the parents, right?
Well, I know that a lot of furniture, Donnie, was removed from classrooms to allow for more distancing and so on, tables and extra desk and all this other stuff was removed so that the classrooms are more spread out.
Are they 6 foot apart?
I haven't been there and measured, I can't say.
This CDC thing's gonna change, because now they're gonna say 17. I only know,
I'm
They're
sure
gonna
somebody
go-
told you.
my wife's a nurse.
No, I'm just sure somebody told you.
I'm gonna tell you,
That's the
I-
slogan,
it's gonna, really,
probably.
you don't think parents are texting me and telling me, ask you questions.
You're the voice of reason. I'm sure they are.
I try to be an honest man,
Yeah, me too. Me too. Robbie, out of all due respect, your time is at about
Where's the
5.5
clock? I don't know
minutes
where, you keeping track?
now. The ringing was going off for quite some time.
I've never heard
So,
the ringing, that's the
If
first time
you
I've heard
could,
the
if
ring.
you could, please finish up.
I appreciate you checking, Larry, I really do, and Ms. Collier, even you, all you guys, whoever checked. I got another question. This is from a parent. Again,
I'm sure it is.
well, it sure is. Why are children being told not to complain to their parents about having to sit on the floor in classrooms at lunch? You kind of invested.
I don't know about lunch. I was talking about a specific classroom
Okay,
that I know the teacher in. As far as lunch, I don't know anything about lunch, how they're sitting at lunch.
okay. And I don't know, Jeremy,
Hey, Robbie,
commit to
what other
going to the
districts
school.
have you-
Commit
How
to going to
many
school with
school
me.
districts have you talked to about, how they do lunch? Because the way we do it may not be perfect, but it's the best that we have right now.
Right.
To separate the kids, keep them safe.
And honestly,
Okay, because I have 3 kids in the school system myself. They have or had kids in the school system, and we're doing everything we can to keep kids safe. Everybody's stressed out, the community's
I know.
stressed out, teachers are severely stressed out, and they're doing the best they can. So give them a little bit of leeway here.
I do, the teachers,
And I think
it's not so much the
we're doing
teachers,
everything we can.
it's the leader of the
We're doing
pack.
everything we can.
It's this man right here is one I had trouble with. I can't get an honest answer out of him. Mungo, you guys hired him. What a mistake.
Thanks for your comments, Rob.
Also, I seen a picture of kids going upstairs all together. They did have masks on, thank God. And other kids are taking pictures with kids no mask on. So honestly, I don't want anybody to get COVID-19. Me, kids, any of you, I don't want anybody to get it. I don't know why I die over this. You know,
I
care
can tell
too.
you, I observed Parkview buses coming in and leaving yesterday. The bus drivers all had masks on, the kids all had masks on, and from what I saw, it was, unlike tonight, it was 100% mask.
and I appreciate that. I appreciate you caring. I know you care, Jeremy. You got
You
both
know
kids
those kids,
too. I
you
know
know
you
those kids
do.
on that stairway, it was a busy stairway, I'll admit that, I agree. It was busy, but they had their masks on, and that's what you have to wear
Right.
if you can't socially distance, that's,
Right.
so they're doing what they're supposed to do.
And this ain't the teacher's fault or the kid's fault. Anybody's, this virus is
And
not.
we're doing the best we
So I
can.
got another question on that. The water jugs. The people's throwing a fit. Is there enough water jugs being held for kids? Water fountains, not water fountains. You can't use those. The water dispensers.
I have it.
First time I've heard that.
Is it
We find
2,
that out.
4?
Complaints, so
Mr. Mungle should know how many we got.
I'm sure that maybe somebody complained, but I'm sure that it was addressed.
With everything else, everything's such back order. I have them ordered.
Okay.
They're coming. We're doing everything we can with J hooks, the dispensers for the teachers to help the kids. And, so they are coming.
I appreciate that. That's all I've got. So I appreciate you just answering me and talking to me about it.
So I'll say, thanks, Rob.
Thank you.
So I'll say, Jeremy, to your
Never know.
point, that is, there's no one here. She has a child in the system. I have 2. Jeremy has 3. Dr. Mungle has 1. We could go on and on. Mr. Pittman, we can go around the room here. So there, regardless of what you think, Rob, our utmost concern is the kids. And all of the administration's utmost concern too. Regardless of the fingers you want to point, everybody's concern, utmost concern is the safety of our kids.
Thank you.
Hearing aids, I'll get,
I thought you had earrings in, John.
to get the one back in so I can hear. My name's John Flynn. I put 4 kids through this school system and I've got 4 grandchildren, only 1 left in. Everybody else has come out fine. They're doing well. I'm here because of Eustace on the History Channel, the mountain man that says common sense is not very common. And that's what we've seen here tonight. No common sense behind me. I don't know these guys, but they're ranting and raving and we haven't reached the end of this yet. We don't know where this pandemic is going to take us. So I'm here to say thank you and how much I respect all the work that you people have put into this and the teachers in the classroom. By the way, I'm married to a lady who taught for 42 years and I served part-time as an employee of this school system for 20 years myself and 32 years on the Bedford Fire Department. So I do know a little bit about health and safety. And I know you guys are doing your best. Some of you, I've coached in Little League Baseball. You did your best then, you're doing it now. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. With that, and since anybody else on persons to address the board, Andrew? Seeing none, before I go to upcoming meetings, it's nice to be able to have the last say before that. And I do want to, with as much as the community likes Facebook and everything on Facebook, everyone wants to believe. I just happened to see something earlier, it wasn't directed towards any one person, anybody on the school board, but it was just an overall comment, a post that someone made and said, "It's been a week. I'm very proud of all the teachers, students, support staff, and principals. This hasn't been an easy transition, but you all are rocking it." So I would just like to close on that and say once again to all of the administration, all the support staff, all of our teachers, everybody that's in this together, and the community that does care about the safety and health of our kids. So from the school board. Job well done, once again, and we thank you for your time and efforts. We all know that it's not a 8 to 4:30 job for any of you now. So once again, with trying to leave and keep things as positive as we can for our kids, I wanted to say that to end the meeting, and once again, great job. We appreciate everyone's efforts in a successful week of school thus far. Anybody else like to say anything?
Just, again, I know there's a lot of extra time going in and, thank you all. I know you're short-handed. And, so, thank you all.
Okay, there will be an executive session at 5:15 PM on Thursday, September 3rd, 2020 at the NLCS Administration Building. There will be an executive session at 5:15 PM, an NLCS budget hearing, 6:30 PM, an NLCS School Board open session on Thursday, September 17th, 2020 at the NLCS Administration Building. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Gilbert makes the motion in a second. Call your seconds to the motion. Questions on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same. Thank you.